I'm Asher.
And we'd like to welcome you to Region 10's Dyslexia Connect. We're going to give you some home strategies so that your child can be more successful.
Welcome to Asher and Miss Nancy's Home Improvement. Are you comfortable?
Well, I'm comfortable for work.
No, for home.
No, I'm not comfortable for home at all.
Okay, we're gonna have to go change. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm getting so used to this.
I know, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Feel comfortable.
I feel much comfortable.
Thank you for joining us for this segment of Home Strategies. Today we're going to talk about reading. At school, your child is probably in a dyslexia program, NIHouse, MTA, Take Flight. There's all different types, and they're learning how that decoding process. Today what we're going to talk about at home is how you can help with that processing and help that stamina with your child. They've already been worn out reading at home. This is some things that you can do. Talk to your teacher. The best thing I can do is talk about breaking things down into parts. So the most important tool that you have inside your set is a pencil.
Yeah.
When your child comes home and they're overwhelmed, when you can take their paper and you can divide it in half, you've already told them, all we're going to do is this section right now, then go play. You have already built their engagement because you have said to them, I know you're intelligent, I know you can do it, and we've set across this time so that you can be successful. So breaking that down into parts is really significant. They might be able to do the other section, but just give them permission to work on one part. So divide your paper in half. For older students, that might look like highlighting it. So when they come in, they have this big assignment. Just by adding the color to it, you have let their brain say, okay, I can see the parts to that. It may sound natural to you, but your child with dyslexia, it just is overwhelming. Teach them how to break it down into parts. Asher, when I first met you, would you just have a blank piece of paper? Was it overwhelming?
Yeah.
Do you use the highlighters now, or do you wait for someone else to do it? Do you have someone help you, or do you do it?
I do it myself.
You do it yourself,
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find that using the different colors is helpful?
Yeah, because like this, like when I look at this just blank, I feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just don't. But when I cut it up into little, like little pieces, I'm like, okay, I need to do this side first, and then do this, and then do this, and then I'm like, fine. And I'm like, okay, I can do this.
And you've already had that communication with him, asking him what he'd like to work on first, and you again told him the time frame that he's going to work on it. So utilizing those strategies helps. So how can I also use color? Sometimes we talked about the transparencies, the color transparencies over the words. It does not help with decoding, it helps with the stamina. You can also ask your child if they have a color paper that they prefer for a different subject. Oftentimes it's the white paper with the black print.
Yeah.
That's the contrast they need, so you can use other colors. Another thing for reading that's beneficial is if you increase the font size. Ask your teacher if they could bring the homework, send it electronically. You increase the font size, you've helped the teacher and your child. Great communication. So here's an example when Asher first came to me. When we're working on decoding skills, he was reading at a lower level than expected, but comprehending above his grade level. So we did start with papers, and I honored him and kept his integrity intact. I said, this is just working with decoding. So this was the sheet of paper that we used. We knew it was below his grade, but we're like, we're gonna have empowerment over these words. They're not in charge of you, you're in charge of them. So we went through, you tell them what we did. So what did we do?
Well, we went through and we highlighted every single word that I knew. I was intimidated when I first saw this. I was like, I don't want to read this. And then I highlighted every single word I knew, and mostly I knew like 70% of it, and only a couple words I didn't know. And then I learned it, and then I got it right.
So having them interact with the print before they have to read it lets them say, hey, I'm intelligent. Let me walk through. What's my decoding trouble? Okay, I'll conquer that. Then when he came to a word he didn't know, we worked on our mindset. Instead of, most often kids, when they came to a word they didn't know, you feel insecure or uncomfortable. So their body language changes. They feel insecure. They avoid it. They'll swallow a lot. So I asked Asher, when you come to a word that you don't know, look at me and say, I don't know that word. Okay, then we're going to work on it. We're going to decode it or be familiar with it. So this is what his paper looked like after he worked with it. So tell me a little bit about that.
I did do this, but your kid doesn't have to do multiple colors. You can just pick one color if you wanted, just one color. But and then I just read it like this, and then those 4 words I saw, I was like, okay, I can figure out these words and I can read the whole thing.
That's right. And then another point that he brought up, which was fantastic, this does not have a formula. You do what your child is needing. The main thing is that you're interacting with it ahead of time and you're using color. So however the two of you work through it so that they feel confident before they read, that's what you want to do. The third thing that we do with reading, again, working on decoding skills, not working on comprehension skills, is we go to the dollar store and we buy cheap books that you can highlight in. So this is what I'd have Asher do. I'd say, Asher, first of all, I'm acknowledging that this is at your decoding level, not at your intelligent level. We're just going to walk through and find some empowerment over this book. Asher, will you please look on this page, you may highlight in my book, words that you know. It's kind of funny because I'll work with my kids and I don't ask them to read at this point, even though they are reading. I'll just say, please highlight words that you know, and they just interact with it really quickly. Oh yeah, he knows all of them now. When he first came to me, there'd probably be, which word do you think maybe we would have waited
Moose.
for? Yeah,
Moose.
The word moose is on here. I think when we began, he probably might not have been able to read it. Understand it, but not read it. So I'd have him highlight. We knew the majority of the words on the page, feel confident about that. Then we work on the word that we're working on. Feel good?
Yeah.
Another use of highlighters. So when Asher came to me a year and a half ago, this was the book we were working on because of decoding skills. But I'd like to brag on him because he's worked so hard. Please show him the book you're working on right now. Yep. How do you feel about opening that book?
I feel much better than I did with even in this book. This book was even hard for me when I first started. And I even highlighted in the book like what I did. Highlighting helps me really good.
So he has confidence now tackling a chapter book, and print is no longer in charge of him. He's the one in charge of it. We've allowed him to know that there's two different skills going on with reading. So in your house, I would recommend you have two baskets. This is the basket of his decoding level. There's nothing wrong with letting him know he's working on that skill, just like in sports or art. There's always something to improve. And then this is where his intelligence is at. You can use technology, you can read with him, but let them be satisfied with their intelligence, that they are ready for chapter books, they're ready for that experience and interest. So let them know there's a distinction between the two types of reading. We really appreciate that you joined us again for this segment and coming into your home.
Have a great day.
Thank you.